the first case that changed the circumstances of an individual after they went to the police was Ronald Cotton. He was a suspect of a crime, and once he found out that he was being looked for, he went to the police and voluntarily gave them information to help clear his name. He gave them an alibi. And thinking that would be it, when the police actually went to go check up with the people that he left as contacts for the alibi, they couldn't verify it because he had mixed up his dates. That wasn't actually where he was during the time of the crime, and so that instantly painted a red target on his back. And so the police confronted him about it, and he realized that he mixed up the dates. And I would personally think that that would be an honest mistake, but after reading the book, lying to the police or even giving misleading information that could or could not be true, or if they can prove that you lied, that's really bad. And so that sort of solidified his guilt in the police's eyes. The second case that answers the first question is the case of Michael Morton. He went to work and his wife was murdered. And him being innocent, he went to the police and gave them all truthful information, unlike the last one where he accidentally lied. This was all truth, but it was sort of too much truth to where he shared that the night before the murder, it was his birthday, and he was upset with his wife because he wanted to have romantic intimacy, and she had fallen asleep before that. And so he left her a note and then left to work the next morning. And so that piece of information, which I think was sort of unnecessary to give to the police anyway, that piece of information was used against him, even though it was the truth and it had nothing to do with her dying. They had found an expert that basically said that after the autopsy, the stomach content basically indicated that she had died within 4 hours of her last meal, which means that they were alone together because her last meal was that dinner on his birthday. So that was enough evidence to convict him, and after voluntarily going to the police, he ended up being responsible for a crime he didn't commit. And just like the first case, went from being completely innocent to being guilty of the crime, even though he wasn't. So the second question is basically asking, what are all of the reasons that the author says that talking to the police is a bad idea? The first point that he makes is that, like, police are human and they're prone to making mistakes, and they are susceptible, just like we are, to something called the confirmation bias, and they will refuse to admit to a mistake that they've made, whether they're totally in the wrong or not. And then another point that he makes is that police are trained to use deception in interrogations, and that type of deception and lying, it is so effective that it not only works on the guilty, but it has been shown to get innocent people to confess to crimes that they didn't commit, which is crazy. So the last question is asking about what advice does he give to the reader if they are asked to be questioned by the police. And at the very end of the book, like the last couple pages, is talking about asking for a lawyer. And it's not like you have to be assertive about it. You have to say, I want a lawyer. Not that I think I might need a lawyer, I might want a lawyer, I think, just those 4 words. And he makes it very clear how important it is to just say I want a lawyer, because if you're unsure about it, then the police can just kind of walk all over you and not give you the lawyer that you think you might need. And so if you be assertive about it and you just repeatedly say I want a lawyer, and you don't answer the questions that they're asking you, and you just use that as your answer, then they know that they are dealing with someone who knows their rights and knows what they're doing, and they can't just get an easy confession out of you. I do have a story that involves a close family friend that had legal issues, and his whole situation was changed basically overnight. And I didn't include it in the video because I felt like it would make it too long. So I included it in the written response to the questions.